really blossom in where you've been called.
Yeah, yeah.
It's quite interesting listening to you though, Temi, because it seems that with the work that you're doing, there's sort of like a larger purpose in it. If we look at it from a faith point of view, and we have this understanding that God has given us particular gifts, particular passions, particular skills, and it's almost like in this context, you're actually helping people to uncover those and to really develop them and to actually come to a place of satisfaction in their lives. What would you say to that?
Yeah, I do agree actually, because when I started out, it didn't seem like that for me. And I was just telling you before that sometimes you don't think of it as a ministry. But I realized, having worked with quite a few people, that when they come to me, you just open their eyes to a different world, something they didn't even think of. I mean, for instance, I have some friends who are now clients that have gifts about education. They know the education system in and out. And I told them, look, you've got such good gifts. There's a lot of people that don't know. You were just talking about something about education recently. A lot of people don't know that. And so by the time I wrote down a plan for them, they were thinking, oh my goodness, I never thought of that. How they can be a blessing to people, in as much as they're going to be charging for what they do, but at the same time, they're providing information that people actually need. So in a way, I'm really blessed to be in this position, to be able to be a blessing to people, open their eyes to what they can do, open their eyes to what's on the inside of them. Because I realize so many people have so much, and some of them are so peculiar gifts. They're just not the regular thing that you will see, you know, on the high street. So it's been a real blessing for me to be able to be a blessing that way.
So when you actually are approached by Christian clients, I'm interested in the sort of process then. Would you actually come together and seek God together? Would you actually pray?
I do pray on my own, because most of the people I meet, we talk over the telephone. So when they come to me and say, oh, I have this idea, or this is something I want to do, or so I don't know what to do, I always go and seek God, because I believe that He's the one that gives me the wisdom to do what I need to do. So I always go to Him. And by the time the ideas start flowing, you can tell that it's supernatural. It's not just something you can pick up from a book. It's just something that God breathes on you, you know, and brings that idea to life. So, and I encourage them as well to seek God, even especially when they're going along the way. They kind of get tired and they think, oh, it's not going to work. And I say, no, with God, you know, all things are possible. Just don't give up. So, you know, I encourage them in the Word as well, you know, give them scriptures to encourage them to do what they need to do. So that's what we normally do. That's the process we take.
So if somebody's watching now, say there's a mother at home and she's been sitting with a business idea for a while, and she's sort of been thinking about the possibility of trying to go forward and establish this, it'd just be interesting to get your take on a few points. I mean, the first one that comes to mind is, how do you discern God's will in this? How do you discern, as a Christian, whether this is of God or not? What would you say to that point?
I strongly believe there's a scripture I love. I think it's Colossians 3:13, which says that let the peace of God be the umpire of your soul, deciding with finality every question that arises in your mind. So that's one thing I believe, that the peace, when you have the peace of God about an issue, then you know that definitely God is in it. So when I seek God, for instance, I mean, there are other ideas that came to mind, but this is what I believe that God wanted me to do, because when I embarked on it, there was a peace. So I believe that when you seek God, that peace will definitely come. You will know within yourself. I mean, you can't fool yourself. You will know. You know, sometimes you want to do something and you know you're being disobedient to what God is telling you to do. But when it's the right path for you, you will definitely follow it through. So for me, that piece is so key, knowing that, yes, this is what God wants me to do. And God give you pointers along the way to show you that, yes, I mean, people come up to me. I meet people, you know, you do things and things just kind of gel together for you. So that just shows you that definitely God is in it.
And what about, so in that particular case I mentioned that it was a mother of small children. I'm just thinking practically in terms of constraints on time and sort of the realities of having a young family, say. So somebody's considering this and they're aware of those constraints. Do you think that there is an issue of timing in all of this?
Oh, I'm a mother of 2 young kids. I've got a 6- and a 3-year-old. So obviously I have to work around that. I've got 2 boys and they're extremely active, I tell you that. And one of the things that kept me at home as well was I wanted to be there for them. I wanted to be able to drop them off at school and pick them up if there's issues I need to deal with. I want to be the first person to know rather than somebody pass on the information to me. And I think along the way, before I had kids, that I've been praying about my kids and how I want to be there. God kind of answered that prayer for me. So it's possible to do that. For me, for instance, my day starts from about just before 7. I get out of bed, you know, get ready, get the kids ready, take them to school. 1 or twice a week I try to go jogging just to stay fit, because I've got boys and, you know, things like that. So And what I try to do is between the time they're in school and at nursery, I try to get a few hours of work done. So I try to work between 10 and 2, and I stick to that routine. At 2 o'clock, I have to stop work because I don't want my kids to get back from school and I'm busy doing something else. So the way I've been able to manage my time is I work between those 10 and 2, spend time with the kids, do the homework, spend time with them, take them for their extracurricular activities, do my wifely duties, cook dinner, do all that, spend time with my husband, and then start work again probably about 10 at night.
Yeah, wow.
So I don't do that every day, but that's I do that maybe about 4 or 5 days a week. So that's how I've been able to structure myself. So I believe if there's a mother right there or somebody that's considering a business, as long as you've got structure, it doesn't have to be stringent hours. It can be 2 days a week. Just have a structure in place and say, okay, within this time frame, I'm going to dedicate it to my business or to my idea or to my concept. That will really help.
That's really important. Structure is so important. Without structure, you can't accomplish anything on a long-term basis. That's fantastic. I just need to remind the viewers, we'd love to hear from you if you have any business ideas. Temi, I think you're going to give, offering your services.
Yes.
You know, and she's going to bless, maybe a few people. With her services. She's not going to ask for any remuneration. So I want you to send us a question and to send us your details, and Temi will get back to you if you have any concerns about wanting to start a business, any ideas you want to develop. She is here kindly to offer services free of charge to any of you that call in. But you must ask a question. That's one of our conditions. God bless you. Birgit, you were going to say something.
Well, yeah,
sorry.
I'm just picking up on this point that you're making about the importance of structure and how key that is. What happens if somebody's watching and they actually have an established business, but what they're finding is that it's slowly taking up more and more of their time, and they're becoming quite overwhelmed. They're aware that actually the other areas of their life, they're sort of forced to more or less neglect other areas, relationships and everything, and they're just feeling really overwhelmed, and they almost feel like they have to be present in their work, that a lot of it depends on them. What would you say to someone in that position to sort of regain that godly order that you were talking about?
Well, sometimes you have to delegate. And I'm finding that with my business as well. Even though I do what I do, I realize that some things I have to delegate. Like I was saying before, I have freelancers that I use when the need arises. So you don't necessarily have to hold on to everything. You know, if you juggle too many balls, you're going to drop some. So what I always advise is find people that can help you with some of the things that you do. It can be a one-off. You don't have to have somebody on a permanent payroll. You can get a contractor to come in and just do bits for you. So rather than you try to do so much and then gain so little, so in other words, you can't expand your client base, you can't advertise more because you don't want to take in more clients because you don't have the time to do what you do. Expand the other way, get more people in to help you. So that for me is the key. I mean, I've had clients, because I just don't do startups. I help people with established businesses as well. So I help them develop what they do and say, look, let's do this differently. Get people in to help you. It can be for your busy seasons, for instance, maybe people that do hampers or seasonal businesses. You can find people to help during Christmas, and then when it goes back to normal, you can do it by yourself. So that way you're not overwhelmed, you're not discouraged, and you can keep going.
I think a lot of it is also having the confidence that, you know, you are the one that has been called to do this business, because a lot of people are fearful of delegating for fear that maybe those people will take away their business or take away their idea. But we're all given a blueprint from heaven, and it's only us that can do that thing. And somebody might want to copy or do something else, but if they've not been given the instructions, they can't. And